Boruto was on freaking fire this week, guys. Last week it was Sarada using the old Sharingan perks. This week it was Boruto copying Mitsuki's win release abilities, adding his own touch to it, getting Shishima right where it hurt with that Boruto stream. And oh man, tell me that scene wasn't absolutely beautiful, where Boruto's using his shadow clones to basically push other shadow clones to attack. I mean, honestly, guys, I'm not the biggest fan of Boruto copying other ninjas' abilities, because in a way, that's Mitsuki's thing, right? Like the wind sights, we see Mitsuki using that ability constantly in this fight. However, as long as you change it up, that's where I'm cool with it, right? So if Boruto were to use wind sight constantly like Mitsuki, okay, that's whack, because it's like you're just literally copying his ability. However, taking it and transforming it, that's cool, and Boruto did that so well this week. And you can't tell me that seeing Shishima get bodied by what was sort of like an element of the Rasengan with the win release combined with like Hyuga style gentle fist, like you can't tell me that didn't remind you of Himawari knocking Naruto out during his inauguration ceremony, where he basically kind of gets in as Hokage, the new Hokage, and he missed it because of his own daughter, right? A little bit of a different situation right here with Shishima and Boruto, but the move reminded me, and even the animation, the way they animated that scene also kind of reminded me of that. Now, did Mitsuki get nerfed in this week's episode? That's a question I want to ask you guys. Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. I try to read as many of your comments as possible, and if I don't reply, doesn't mean I haven't read your comment, by the way. Because the reason I feel like he got nerfed is this dude has Sage mode, right? This dude could obliterate everybody here if he wanted to, with the exception of maybe Chojuro, the Mizukage, if he actually was the Mizukage for once and he did his job with his actual sword, which he doesn't even have possession of right now. He did, by the way, keep in mind for like a second until Kagura was like, yo, master, I've been a good boy, you know, like, I've really used your sword how you wanted me to use it. Let me use it some more. Thank you, by the way. I don't know if it's something to do with the anime manga differences. Maybe he does not have the Sage mode in the anime, or maybe the way they'll go about explaining this is while he went Sage mode in the one shot, at the end of the day, that was something temporary, kind of like Goku with Ultra Instinct. He didn't master it, so he can't just pull it out whenever he wants. It's something that's very situational, and maybe in the future of the story, he will master it, and maybe that would make more sense as to why we don't see it, by the way. Though I've said this time and time again, Mitsuki's Jonin level, with his sensory ability / perception, he shouldn't even be on this mission, and Boruto was outperforming Mitsuki this week. Granted, they both helped each other, they worked together, but Mitsuki was the one who got slashed up by the Samehada as it was growing exponentially as he, by the way, tried to slit Shishima's throat. Mitsuki was the one who almost met his end when he tried to get away. He got nailed down by all of those spears or whatever, and if he didn't use wind release in the nick of time pushing himself back, he would have been stuck there and he would have met his end by Shishima's sword. So it just feels like if Boruto's competing with this dude, and Boruto's the one who actually took him out, yes, with Mitsuki's help, by the way, at the end of the day, it feels like they're either one, nerfing Mitsuki to make Boruto look better. On the other hand, this is another way they could go about explaining this. It's just that Mitsuki wants to have fun and fight on par with Boruto. One thing about Mitsuki is he is learning about human beings. He was kind of isolated for the longest time, kept away from normal human civilization. Normal, I say that with, you know, emphasis, by the way, because what do you really call normal in the Naruto world? But he doesn't really understand human emotions and people, and maybe him fighting alongside Boruto, being in the middle of all of this, he would learn more and more, and maybe that's his goal. So that could be another way they could go about explaining why Mitsuki was having a hard time against Shishima when Boruto's the one who actually did the numbers in the end. But I'll say this time and time again, Boruto outperforming the future Hokage Sarada, that's one thing. Boruto outperforming someone who already has Sage mode right now, that's something entirely different. And we know Boruto's already broken as a shinobi. Come on, guys. Like, how fast is he mastering wind release? I mean, it'll be like 10 to 20 more episodes where Boruto surpassed like Naruto's usage of the wind release throughout Shippuden, which is absolutely insane if you think about it. I mean, performance alone, Boruto's growing exponentially in terms of skills, right? You take Naruto's Jinchuriki powers away from him, listen, man, it's debatable, right? And I'm not saying that he's gonna end up surpassing Naruto one day, I'm just saying Boruto is a broken kid. Where Boruto clearly excels, those where Mitsuki clearly lacks, and that's just the ability to sympathize with people and understand them. Mitsuki is very stable emotionally, but that's for reasons we're not going to get into, right? Same reasons why Sai is, by the way, emotionally mature and stable. I mean, how many times did Boruto tell Kagura, like, you do not have to follow in your grandfather's footsteps, you are completely separate from him and his destiny, you can formulate your own destiny. I thought you were truly happy when you played Ninja Bout with us. I'm just like, yo, you played a card game with this dude for 10 minutes and you're here talking like you know the dude. So on one hand, it's like Boruto just coming through with that confidence, but it's just stupid to me. Like, how many times are you gonna bring out Ninja Bout Naruto? Like, you play the game with him for 10 minutes. 10 10 minutes! And even if he was happy, okay, he could have been happy. Guess what? You still don't know the guy. That being said, Boruto did not give up trying to win over Kagura's sympathies, constantly pulling in when he was falling deeper and deeper into darkness, like snap back into reality. And Boruto could see just as well as anybody else that when Shisuma was exposing his scar to him, that he was on some crazy psychological abuse. Who the hell does that? When you want someone to stick by your side, you gotta use some logic at the very least. You can't only rely on the psychologically abusive. Because it's like, you know, as the episode went on and on, like, it just fell apart. His stories were just completely made up and nonsense. Like, Chojiro's killing dissidents in secret, you know, these secret assassinations and meetings. Like, yeah, clearly when Shojiro's feeling bad for Shisuma by the end of the episode, yeah, he's definitely the type to plan out secret assassinations, giving him the only thing that made him the Mizukage in the first place to an unstable kid that nearly killed Boruto, this kid from this other village, the son of the Hokage, cutting him in two. Yeah, it sounds like someone who really plans out secret assassinations, Shisuma. Boruto clearly wins in the Talk No Jutsu department, putting aside Mitsuki's intel or Mei and others doing research on growing dissidents in the Hidden Mist village, but even combat-wise this week, he put in more work spamming those shadow clones, actually coming to Mitsuki's rescue in this episode. They sort of both helped each other out. Mitsuki didn't have to come in the first place, but even in the very end of the episode where Boruto is using the Hiramekerai, basically the blade was split into two, and they both just came at Shisuma, splitting Samehada from his being, taking him out. Like, again, Boruto went in this week. He was on fire, and he did more than Mitsuki, which I don't think we're going to be saying a lot in the Boruto anime. Now, this episode was entirely action-packed. You had 4 fights in the episode. You had Boruto versus Kagura. You had Boruto and Mitsuki versus Shisuma. You then had Kagura versus Shisuma, and then you had Boruto and Kagura working together against, I'm guessing, Samehada linked with Shisuma. I definitely felt like some of the fights were better executed than others. You know, Boruto and Mitsuki working together was absolutely brilliant on Studio Period's part, but Kagura was just such a wimp this week, so anytime we actually saw him in combat, I'm just like shaking my head, and we know Studio Period could have done something better with him this week, because who knows when we'll see this guy again. I mean, these are the main villains in this arc, and probably once we're back in the Hidden Leaf Village, we won't see Kagura for another like 30 or 40 episodes. I get it that he had nothing to really believe in. What he was believing in was deluded, period, thinking that he couldn't formulate his own destiny and that he's this ruthless killer because of something he did when he was a kid. Even the beginning of this episode, he nearly cut Boruto into two, right? It was a shadow clone, but then Boruto literally dropped this dude with 2 kunais. And it's like, what are you doing with Kagura? He's supposed to be this, again, if you want to make him a ruthless killer, have him be the ruthless killer, at the very least for a couple minutes or something. But Boruto just convinced this dude, and he really could not fight at all. So his moments were very limited in this week's episode, and even throughout this arc. I mean, again, had it not been for the fact that Shisuma just sucks and he got absorbed by his own sword, the sword just kept on growing and growing, and Shisuma's kind of weak, so the sword just took him over. Had it not been for the fact that Shisuma sucks, I don't know if Kagura would have gotten the win in the end. The problem with Shisuma is he's just stupid, right? If you want to be a powerful ninja, you gotta be incredibly powerful, and if you're not, you gotta be manipulative and smart. He's not mega powerful, he's kind of powerful, especially in contrast to his lackeys, but he's just kind of dumb. Like, again, he's dumb and he's not powerful enough to get away with being that dumb. He foils his own plans a couple minutes into the episode, and then he tries to play like he didn't, and like, Kagura, you know, we're still cool, like, you know, I love you, but like, I am using you. I love you, no. I mean, no one takes you seriously, dude. You're nothing like Hisame Hoshigaki. Just because you share his last name, you try to give advice to Kagura, like, you need to put more chakra into the Hiramekerai. How about you shut up? Or maybe, why don't you join in the fight and help Kagura defeat or kill Boruto? And maybe do what you want him to do so you could bring about this great revolution. Instead of relying on unstable dude who, by the way, Boruto understands is unstable and he's trying to unwind from your psychological abuse. That being said, guys, tell me what y'all thought about this episode. I did enjoy it. We even see Boruto's dojutsu activating when he goes in with the Hiramekerai, helping Kagura, of course, take Shisuma out, and the way Shisuma gets dropped is just, it was absolutely hilarious to me. Like, bro, you suck so bad. I mean, even Chojiro's there pitying you. How sad is that? Everyone's there in the end. Sarada's worrying about roll call. Like, you think any of that just compares to what happened to Boruto, almost getting sliced into 2? I mean, that was a really dark way to open up this episode, so I give him props for that. It was a really gutsy move. If y'all want me to be honest, I have a lot of hope for Kagura as a character, but Shisuma absolutely